छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, why I think Asim Munir being promoted to Field Marshal sets the stage for a coup. At 8:30 p.m. tonight, it's nationalists versus the Congress party as the Congress party belittles the Indian forces, calls Operation Sindoor a chut-put yudh. At 9 p.m. tonight, the nation is puzzled as the Congress party takes a completely anti-Operation Sindoor line, in fact, and makes a determined attempt yet again to run down the forces and their achievement. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to start with a few comments. I have a fantastic panel tonight on General Asim Munir being made Field Marshal. Now, Field Marshal in the Pakistan Army is a 5-star and highest rank awarded by the government of Pakistan to the Chief of Army Staff. It is a rank above General as well as above Air Chief Marshal and above Admiral, which means that Asim Munir has got what he wanted. This is what he was aiming for. This is why he carried out Pahalgam. This is why he carried out the massacre of innocent tourists in Pahalgam. This is why he made those dog-whistling comments towards Hindus. This is why he said Hindus and Muslims will always be different. And this is why he fronted the two-nation theory, because he wanted an extension. So for an extension, he did all this. You see, viewers, Asim Munir's term was to end in November of 2025. With this promotion, which he has got because he has the civilian leadership under his boot, just like Nawaz Sharif was under the boot of General Musharraf. His deadline for retirement now moves to November of 2027, ladies and gentlemen, which means he becomes effectively a general for life. He may not even retire. In fact, he will want the next promotion, which is what the other Field Marshal in Pakistan got, and his name was Field Marshal Ayub Khan. And he carried out a coup and became the president of Pakistan in 1958. Ladies and gentlemen, I am absolutely certain, and I can say without the slightest shred of doubt in my mind, that what happened to Nawaz Sharif, who was overthrown in a military coup in October 1999, will happen to Shehbaz Sharif in 2025. I can absolutely certainly say tonight that Asim Munir will declare a state of emergency. He will suspend what remains of the Pakistani constitution. He will place the rest of the Sharif family on house arrest, just like Musharraf had done. And that is the Sharif family, to be bootlickers to the Pakistani army and promote them as well. This is my view of things, ladies and gentlemen. Let's debate.
He made the plan.
We are different from the Hindus in every possible aspect of life. Our religion is different. Our customs are different. Our traditions are different. Our thoughts are different. Our ambitions are different. That was the foundation of the two-nation theory that was laid there. That we are two nations. We are not one nation.
He is in motion.
9 और 10 की दरमियानी रात में तकरीबन 2:30 बजे असलार मुनीर ने मुझे सिक्योर फोन पे मुझे बताया कि वज़ीर-ए-आज़म हिंदुस्तान ने अपने अभी लॉन्च किए हैं, नूर खान एयरपोर्ट पे गिरा है, और कुछ और दूसरे इलाकों में गिरे हैं।
He fooled an entire nation.
इस पूरी जंग की प्लानिंग जनरल शहीद आसिम मुनीर ने की। इंतहाई दलेरी से, दानिशमंदी से मैं उसका जाती तौर पर गवाह हूं, क्योंकि उन दिनों में दिन रात मेरी इनसे टेलीफोन पर और हमारी फेस टू फेस मुलाकात होती थी। और जिस हौसले के साथ मैं आपको ये कहना चाहता हूं कि बतौर एक पाकिस्तानी के मुझे इनके ऊपर फख्र है। ये कौम के फख्र है, कौम के फख्र, कौम के बेटे हैं ये बिल्कुल।
While his civilian government ran to Beijing to seek cover, General Asim Munir's plan came to fruition. As per local media reports, in Pakistan, the corrupt general has now been promoted to the highest rank in the Pakistan Army and will now be known as Field Marshal Asim Munir. Even you will be shocked to know the reason behind the surprising promotion of Asim Munir. Pakistan says it's for his exemplary role in successfully leading Pakistan's armed forces during Operation Sindoor.
He was ISI chief when Pulwama terror attack happened and India responded with Balakot air strikes. Shafted by Imran Khan, he barely survived and became army chief 3 days before his retirement with a changed government. As army chief, he sat over India's Operation Sindoor as we bamboozled 12 of their air bases and took down their Chinese radar systems. And yet, Asim Munir becomes Field Marshal. This is clearly a coup by other name, which is that as Field Marshal, Asim Munir's grip over Pakistan is complete.
Since 1947, this is the second time the Field Marshal rank has been activated in Pakistan. The first time was by General Ayub Khan in 1959, who carried out a coup in 1958 and ruled Pakistan till 1969. Within 10 days of the ceasefire understanding, Asim Munir is consolidating power in moves apparent to take over the Pakistani government. Isn't it clear now that the anti-Hindu rant, Pahalgam terror attack and targeting of Indian civilian and military infrastructure was part of one strategy of Munir to grab power in Pakistan? The question remains, how long can Asim Munir fool the people of Pakistan about his exemplary role?
We have a great panel to discuss this tonight. I have Christine Fair, who's a very senior political scientist, and she's joining us from Washington this evening, Carol Christine Fair. And we have General G.D. Bakshi, of course, and we have General Bishambar Dayal, and I'm delighted to see once again this evening Ambassador G. Parthasarathi, sir. Good evening, and it's been a long time since we had you on Republic. Thank you, Mr. Parthasarathi, for joining us, sir. Nobody understands Pakistan better than you. You have a lived experience and a professional experience of Pakistan that few can match in this country and few ever will. How do you view the Asim Munir becoming a field marshal in terms of the overall dynamics of Pakistan? Because every time there's been a period of national insecurity, the army usually promotes itself.
Well, I lived through an interesting era when the Pakistan army under General Musharraf suffered a humiliation in operations which he attempted in India, the famous battles of 1999. Now, which was really the Kargil conflict. Musharraf took over the government itself with a coup. So Pakistan's generals are capable of many things. Musharraf took it, as I said, after they were humiliated during the Kargil conflict. But I must say, in fairness to him, he changed a lot when he took over power. In the case of Asim Munir, I think he is a bit of a moron. That's how I classify him for power. Now, what has happened, I think, is that the army, leave aside the army, none of the services could handle the air attacks, the missile attacks we mounted, and they ended up looking silly. While Munir was the receiving end of that stupidity, while their Air Force did not do too badly, he, despite all that, has made himself, as Musharraf did earlier when I was there, as the army chief. But there is a difference between Musharraf and Munir. Musharraf had a sophisticated mind, which, as I said, could lead him to even think afresh on Kashmir. Munir, I regard him like a street urchin turned head of the army. He is crude, he is pathologically Indian and makes that public. And I think we have to watch out for this man and whether now he moves to seek control of the nuclear establishment also, which is now out of his hands.
So that's an interesting analysis, which takes me to my next question to Dr. Christine Fair. He's got an extension, Christine Fair, but will that be the extent of his ambition? He's got an extension. Now, technically, he's there till November of 2027. But is that his ambition?
It may not be the end of his ambition. Every time he extends, there's a whole bunch of people beneath him who don't get promoted. And so every year he stays in beyond his extension, he's actually 2 generations apart in terms of the PMA cohorts than his oldest general. So what happens is there's this cultural divide. There tends to be unease with additional extensions. So it may not be the end of his ambitions, but there are these structural constraints that come into play. We saw this with Musharraf. Eventually the corps commanders just got fed up with him. It wasn't the lawyers' movement that brought down Musharraf standards. So there are some natural breaks to his ambition, even if his ambition itself is unlimited.
Now, if you look at this is happening, General Bakshi and General Ayub, you have the Pakistan minister in China. You have the Taliban foreign minister who has also been asked to come to China. I don't know if General, but I'm sure General Dayal can on that one. So you have the ISI who was made the National Security Advisor. And then now you have the Chief of Army Staff being made the Field Marshal. Is it a deliberate, maybe Chinese sidestep of the civilian leadership? Because China was very with the way the ceasefire got announced by Donald Trump. So is China really playing its hand to promote the military, do business with them, to defend their own economic interests?
Arnab, if you recall,
Yes, Jaldar.
On your show, I had said that the firing that Arnab, if you recall, on the 10th of when we discussed in the evening on your show why Pakistan was still indulging in cross-border firing when ceasefire had been declared at their request by them and they requested for it. And I'd said that there is a clear-cut division and somewhere the Chinese hand is playing, There's no doubt that there must be a Chinese hand. But Munir himself is a very, very ambitious man, firstly. Munir is a hardliner. Thirdly, Munir himself already controls. Constitutionally, he may be, as a chief of army staff, he may have been equal to the other 2 chiefs. But actually, the power is exercised by army in Pakistan, not by Air Force Navy. Pakistan Army controls the ISI. So he controls, and becoming a field marshal, I personally feel, he will just keep a facade of, like what you said, he will keep the Sharif brothers facade for the international world. But actually he will control, and you will see a more hardliner and a more anti-India rhetoric, and a more, I think, he will try and create a fanatic sort of an environment on the religious lines as well. So you will see a time when Ziaul Haq was creating armed forces totally based on religion, totally based on anti-India sentiment. So you will see that, you know, more catching up with the Pakistan army. This will also give a cover failures they've had. So, you know, this is well thought out by the army chief himself. And is just playing into its end. It is now for us to see how to again undermine him. I can assure you this peace is lull. This is a short duration peace. We don't know 4 months, 5 months down the line, there may be another act of terror by the so-called deep state of Pakistan. And then how we respond to it. Do you want to send him again Ayub Khan's way only? I mean, you know, Muhammad Ayub Khan also survived the 65 war.
Correct.
But then 68, 69, if you recall, there were huge, massive revolts in Pakistan against him. There was a revolt within the armed forces, and he was again thrown by another Mirza Khan. So what I'm saying probably, you see, when you prolong his tenure, there will be a decision in the Pakistani army also. Let's not forget.
No,
temporarily, today, he may be looking very strong.
That's the point that Christine Fair also made there, quite rightly, there will be internal dissent eventually within the army, but that takes a lot of time to ferment. My question is to General Bakshi. General Bakshi, your thoughts, of course, but don't the Sharif, doesn't the Sharif family see what's coming? They've got a political death wish. This is a family where the Sharif brothers were not allowed to attend their father's funeral due to their detention in Saudi Arabia. The whole family had been put on house arrest in October 1999 by Musharraf. So they're only in this country. Don't they see what's coming? Or they're just holding on somehow to power? Even happy to be a facade?
Arnab, from day one, we've been saying on your channel that the entire exercise is to get Munir an extension. He's already received one extension, by the way. He's supposed to be retiring in 27. He had wrangled that when he arrested, Imran Khan, right? But now his wish was to emulate Ziaul Haq 11 years. Parvez goes to 11 years. So he wanted that, so he's gotten himself promoted Field Marshal. British military system which we have inherited, a Field Marshal never retires. A Field Marshal is designated for life. So, Arnab, this man has done very well by himself.
Yep.
He's gotten about 1,000, 2,000 people. But he's gotten himself his field. He can go on and on till some load, the corps commanders get together, because as the Gulf, right now the corps commanders are, as he wastes out a lot of, potential army chiefs, right? The thing is, will he let go of the army chief's chair? No, sir. That is the real seat of power. So the gulf between him and the newer corps commanders will increase. And finally, the collegiate of corps commanders had thrown out Parvez Musharraf. Let's be quite clear. Parvez Musharraf was also exiled. He was taken care of. This man is heading that, he's on that ego trip that I am God's gift to mankind, at least to Pakistan, right?
But you see only a Chinese hand in this, or you see an American hand in this, because during this period of this conflict, there was direct communication between Asim Munir and the Americans. I don't know if it was who in the American establishment it was, but there was direct contact between him and the Americans. So is he leveraging that?
Arnab, my personal opinion, this man is managing his own promotions. This man is out to get himself a field marshal. He's made himself field marshal for life. He never retires now. There's no question of 2 years, 4 years, 5 years.
But then going by history,
in the British military.
But going by history then, General Bakshi, because I'm again going back, maybe I shouldn't go back 25, 26 years. I go back to Dr. Parthasarathi out here. You see, going by this logic, he has got extensive powers now. There were some changes recently authorized by the courts by which even civilian personnel can be put under military rules. This happened during the period of the conflict or just before that, which means he's a field marshal, he has extensive powers. A man technically reporting to him is the National Security Advisor. He has been thanked profusely by Shehbaz Sharif, who's called him the greatest son of Pakistan. He's polarized the society. He has direct control over the terrorist groups, and therefore, I would not be surprised if he does what Musharraf did. Musharraf just froze all the Sharif family bank assets, seized their properties, and went after the PMLN. I do not understand what's going on between the PMLN and Asim Munir, and I'd like Dr. Partsati to throw his hat into that. What do you think is going on there, sir? Because we need to understand on this.
Look, neither the PMLN nor the PPP would want another military takeover. They are really, to my mind, looking at the next election. But the fact is more dangerous is that there has been deep failure in Pakistan at their continued economic failure, where India is growing at 6 to 8% per annum. There's always this comparison. And the military will, people like will really put the blame on the civilian leaders. I think you have to be, I would take his appointment more seriously. Let us wait and see if he tries to escalate problems order. He played a rather stupid role. It was the Pakistan Air Force which saved the face of Pakistan recently. So he is not by any manner a great army chief. And if he chooses to do what he's planning to do, he is going to have the other services discontented. And moreover, Pakistan already is in such shambles that he will get the blame for everything which goes wrong from people in Pakistan. I'm not sure that he is one of those guys who risk his own life by attempting to go nuclear. But yes, he will create problems. But really, we've reached a stage where, as the generals have said before, this is something we know how to handle and can handle.
So on that, I want to go back to Christine Fair for one more time. Dr. Christine Fair, in terms of, we have Operation Sindoor, which is still very much on, and the Indian government is repeatedly, it's unusually, we are doing daily press conferences where Indian Armed Forces generals come and say that Operation Sindoor is on. These are today's successes. This is today's action. Very, very strong communication that it is very much on. In that given situation, where we've said that any act of terror will be seen an act of war, and this has the endorsement of Prime Minister Modi, and it's a public commitment to the nation, what will Field Marshal Asim Munir's approach be? To let things be, or?
I'm going to be really clear. India has not deterred Pakistan. Deterrence is judged in the behavior of the adversary or the target country where the deterrence is being attempted. There's no evidence that Pakistan has been deterred. So what I fully anticipate is, because this is part of Pakistan's strategic culture, it is part of Pakistan's strategic aims, that after 4 to 5 years, there's going to be another terrorist attack, just like we had at Pahalgam. Now, India has put itself in a very perilous situation by making these proclamations, by not engaging or not committing to engage in proportionate responses. Despite what the jingoistic media has said in India and has completely misinformed Indians, India has not decisively defeated Pakistan. Pakistan did not run with its tail between its legs. In fact, it's dangerous to misunderestimate the victories that Pakistan believes it chalked up in this conflict. So this conflict escalated faster than India had anticipated. And make no mistake, India also wanted someone to help find an off-ramp to de-escalate the conflict. So unfortunately, with the jingoistic media, it creates political expectations amongst the people that then generate military requirements that become increasingly implausible. So the next crisis is going to be even more dangerous than this one, is what's going to happen. But rest assured, there's going to be another crisis.
Yeah, I take what you're saying about Pakistan's, approach to things. But I'd say one thing to you, Dr. Christine Fair. I know this is part of the narrative that is sold to the West, that the media in India is jingoistic and the Indian media...
It is jingoistic. This show is jingoistic.
Yeah, let me, I mean, if you find this jingoistic, you could from your perspective. But let me tell you this, Christine Fair. You need to be in a country which has suffered these kind of terrorist attacks to come to that kind of conclusion. I would respectfully completely disagree with the semantics of jingoistic, because I think that would be slightly patronizing towards the pain that the people of the country have been through. Everything is relative, Christine Fair. Allow me to complete. Allow me to complete, please. Allow me to complete. Allow me to complete. Since you said something, I'm giving you my perspective. I'm not intending to get into a debate with you, but I must not let that be unqualified. My point to you is, everything, Christine Fair, you've studied the enough to know.
That has nothing to do with the suffering.
You've studied
Your jingoism undermines the suffering.
1 minute.
See,
Christine, please do not give me this academic intolerance and listen to what I'm saying.
I'm going to give you
listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what we live in India, unlike you. So there's a slight difference. What I'm saying is, when you study things from this, this perspective, you need to understand. Today, in today's age, when 166 people were killed in Mumbai, and the response of the Indian government was that Shiv Shankar Menon said that doing nothing is the right perspective to do, right? You compare that response, Christine Fair, and when you say the jingoistic media expectations and that gets rolled over to politicians, I'm afraid, but you have a complete misreading of the expectations of the Indian people who had been in Mumbai or Pune in the November of 2008. Let me assure you, you didn't need the media to feel. I, Christine Fair, covered 26/11 for 100 hours flat. It was not jingoistic, it was objective reporting. Came out on the gateway of India in tens of thousands, reporting what we were saying in the media, because the media was a reflection of the people. Okay, so that don't just put that into these intellectual crannies of jingoistic and all that. It's not. It's very supercilious, and I would suggest you should avoid it. You're a good academic, but why do you want to make sweeping statements having the lived experience of the country? General Bakshi, maybe General Bakshi can tell you. See, this is what happened. You put yourself in this intellectual, you put yourself into these intellectual ivory towers without lived experience. Then you pass justifications on the people. Let me tell you, were you jingoistic after 9/11 happened? Was your media jingoistic after thousands of people were killed?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
After 26/11?
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. You disregarded 26 or 9/11.
Our media after
your media was a servile follower of the WMD, and we are not going to listen to American superciliousness anymore.
Just like you're a servile
I am telling you this. See, the problem is the moment you are intolerant. So I will give it back to you. I want to admit everyone on. I am not among those people who will listen to any amount from an American academic or any academic. Thank you. Yeah, that's why you switched off. The problem is.
Can we come in?
General Bakshi. No, I think I touched a raw nerve, but I can't let her patronize the people of India. Yeah.
Absolutely not. Simply put, her domain expertise is the terrorist organizations in Pakistan. I'm afraid she is not an expert on air warfare, right? John Sinclair of the United States, Tom Cooper of the Austrian military history wing, who deal with air warfare, have all certified that India has won a clear-cut military victory, right? The first day, most air forces do SEAD, suppression of enemy air defenses, before they attack any terror or other targets. We did not do that because we wanted to be proportionate in our response, right? We took on that constraint. Despite that, single one of our 24 cruise missiles, our spy missiles and our hammer bombs, guided bombs, hit terror the 9 camps that we have hit. They hit the headquarters of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, of the Taliban and the Hizbul Mujahideen. The Pakistani media has testified to that. Number one. The next day, Pakistan did vertical escalation, right? They fired 6 to 900 drones totally. 90% of them were shot down along with their missiles, which include tactical ballistic missiles like the Shaheen 1 and Shaheen 2, which are nuclear capable. America and Israel have been talking of taking out the Iranian nuclear capability. Able to do it so far. We have hit the Chagai Hills and the Kirana Hills. We blocked the exit and entry tunnels, made a large section of their nuclear stockpile inoperative for use against us. So I think she might as well like to consult some of our colleagues in the American Air Force.
I have
perspective.
I have respect for academics, but the problem is when they make sweeping statements about the people, say people of India are not angry, you are making them angry. This is the kind of sweeping comment I mean I would not expect from any person of... since I have Partha with us, I want to ask him one question before I move on to the next subject. Partha, you wanted to add something, of course. What can one expect in this conflict situation, in a medium-term way?
Look, firstly, it was a mistake to invite Christine Fair. She's insufferable. But I think we are missing the point. What we won yesterday was a scientific victory. They were expecting aircraft, army, and we hit them with missiles in places we tore them to pieces. That is why we won yesterday. We used our brains, we used our technology for a change, and they didn't know how to fight a technological warfare. That is what India is achieving. It may lose an odd aircraft here or there, but this attack Pakistan never expected would be so ruthlessly by Indian artillery and missiles. We have never fought a war with Pakistan in which we've knocked the hell out of them with missiles. So this was a different form of warfare, and yes, we have old practices to follow, but I think where we are going to take the lead in bashing them is in science and technology and in our ability to bring in new categories of arms and really bash them. I mean, they can't afford it. If you read what is happening in Pakistan, they have been shaken by the way we have hit their cities, every building, and pinpoint targeting of terrorist houses. So let's not, get these Christine Fairs and others. If you get a clinical military alliance, it is change of military technology and development of new technology by India, which led to the result we got yesterday.
I think that's very well put. Partha, it's great to have you. We've been missing you a lot.
One last comment.
Okay, General Dayal wants to come in on that. Yeah, go on, General Dayal.
See, Arnab, you let her go honestly. She needs to understand that you are not only dealing with Pakistani army, but you are dealing with a state which has been... It's a state for 70 years, it has been lying, fooling the world, deceiving the world with a propaganda. See, what we need to break is that, they're lying.
So the point also, General Dayal, you are men of much more experience than me. In fact, I consider it a privilege to be among three of you today, especially with Partha, General Bakshi. But what only thing I find different, sir, from my experience...
Like this. I wanted to tell her...
No, my experience, what I feel, sir, she left on her own.
Our people's aspiration, see.
Sir, one line, sir, then I'll hand over. Okay. Sir, difference I feel from 2008 to now...
Our people had aspirations.
No, sir, difference is from 2008 from now. I'm telling you, sir, as a journalist, I felt the anger of people after 26/11, but the government was not angry. The system was not angry. I'm sure individuals were angry. But the media was angry. This is angry. The people are angry. The government is angry. The army is angry. So, mentality between all parts of our state. So, I think that is what the world outside is not accepting. They feel, media is provoking people. Who's provoking people? Who are we to provoke people? People are as angry as us. We are only a reflection.
our people are very nationalist, very patriotic. They propel. And let me tell you, they want Pakistan to be sorted out once for all.
Completely.
General Bakshi have been talking.
And it will be, sir.
That look, Pakistan needs to be sorted out once for all.
Sir, it will be, sir. It has to be.
Otherwise, they'll keep telling lies. They'll keep fooling their people.
Sir.
And they spend money. And see, Arnab, they will never station because who will get them the IMF next?
Yeah.
Next.
So we broad-based it a bit because I have to go to the second debate. I'll wrap this one. And a thank you to Partha and a promise from Partha that he will visit our studio and do a lovely interview and podcast with us. He hasn't visited yet.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।